cheers to episode 67.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We got wine.
Water.
Bush Light.
Oh, baby. What can was that, Evan? Was that their normal can? That looked darker.
It's in a koozie.
Okay. My eyes are so sharp. What a pull.
You weren't
Yeah, it
wrong.
looks with water. Okay, nice. Really sweet. Welcome to the number one sports podcast in the state of Michigan, still undefeated. The dynasty. It is, like Nick Saban's, tied. It's Tuesday. It's April 12th. It's 8:45 p.m. And spring has sprung in Michigan. It's spring.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, it's warm. We've made the turn. The Masters was this weekend, and it actually
I think it's going
coincided.
to be 40 in like a week, dude.
Note to self, Grant does not check future days of weather.
Grant does not look at weather.
Let me
It's
enjoy.
not the turn.
Let me enjoy this. Let me enjoy this one weekend. Spring is here. Okay. Yes, it's Michigan. We're gonna have another poopy week. Hopefully not a weekend, but a poopy midweek where days are cold. But just know it's like probably the last one we're gonna have, because once you hit the 70, 64 days, brighter days are ahead.
It has snowed on my birthday in the past, just so you're aware.
I did
Which
not
hasn't
know that.
hit yet.
To preview the show, that was a little tease there for Alex. He wants birthday gifts coming soon.
I don't need a birthday gift.
We'll do our weekly check-ins. We'll do kind of like a quick hitting segment of like a recap of sports as well with the Masters and then the Detroit Tigers. Kind of first few games. Maybe we can do some like hot takes, like classic overreactions from what we saw from only a few games, because those are always fun. And then the bulk of this show is going to be reviewing the Pistons season that was. We didn't talk much about them during the regular season because there wasn't much to talk about. So we're just going to briefly think about what we saw, what we know, what we don't know, and maybe what this team needs, like a little teaser for when the offseason starts up. And then we'll end this with a snake draft. Now, everyone's like, the bulk of what I see online right now is the NFL draft. NFL draft, NFL draft. Don't worry, we're getting there. People might be like, you guys haven't talked much about the NFL draft. Well, our college basketball teams, we love that. So that was exciting. And then you have kind of a week off and you have the Masters. So other things have happened. But now we're getting into draft season, and we're going to ease into it to brace ourselves for the inevitable bad that has hurt Detroit throughout the years. The worst draft picks in our town's sports history will each make 5 picks, and the range is from 2000 to present day. So that'll be a fun but also kind of depressing, but we can, like, looking back and laughing at it, kind of way to end the show. And that'll pretty much be all for us tonight. So without further ado, the golf guys, how was your weekly recaps? What happened to you guys this week?
Well, I went home to my parental's home this weekend. It's previous weekend. And I golfed on Saturday. It's very cold. It's like 40 degrees. It's pretty miserable. With a longtime listener, Ben.
Shout out, Ben. Windy?
Windy, cold, rainy, just really terrible golf weather, but wanted to get out there.
Gotta get out there when you see the Masters.
Right. So that was all right. And then Sunday, I went to my aunt and uncle's house for a Masters party / grandmother's birthday / grandmother's anniversary.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
Yes. So that's what I did. Good time. Drank a little too much probably on Saturday at the local watering hole at night. Mucks. And yeah, nothing crazy to report on. I figure we don't want to talk about Golf League until the end of this segment.
Fair. I like that as a routine. What'd you drink at Mucks?
What did I have? I had some Coronas and I had some Summer Shandy.
Leinenkugels.
Yep.
Great can.
That was on tap, so that's what I went with.
Okay. Elite can. Elite can for that beer.
Yeah. No can for me on Saturday.
I'll
And
split.
I played some pool.
Oh, pocket variety or billiards? Both.
Billiards.
Both.
It was horrendous the first game, and then I had probably the best stretch of my life that I've ever played, where I made like 7 in a row. I don't know what happened to me. And then that faded away in the next game. But it was a cool one game that I had where I just couldn't miss, and I was making shots that I've never made before.
You always have that moment.
Yep.
I'll go here in the middle to break up some golf and give Evan some more chewing time. Evan, what are you eating?
I'm eating just leftover chicken and rice.
Nice.
Delicious.
Rice, really easy to digest, good on the tummy.
Thank you.
This weekend, I went to the first ever spring wedding I've ever been to, and I knew a total of 2 people at this wedding. So that was interesting. My brain that can't help but just thinking things are funny when they're supposed to be serious. When the person that was running the wedding, the speaker, said, the 2 people that are getting married would like to thank everyone for being here for whatever role they've played in their life. I just started giggling kind of to myself, not out loud, but just thinking like, yeah, that's just, I've never spoken to these people. But it was a very, very fancy wedding. It was at Shepherd's Hollow Golf Course in Clarkston, which I had never been on the premises of. I'm probably too terrible at golf to be allowed to play there. The trees were phenomenal around there, very tall, not trees you find in this area of Michigan. Like, I don't see many trees that look that amazing. And the rain held off enough. The ceremony was outside, and it was kind of awesome because pulled into the parking lot. It was a 5 p.m. wedding, and just in time to hear Dan Dickerson erupt for the walk-off single by Javier Baez. So it was great to get that. Was doing some tweeting in the car. Shout out to Marissa for helping me so I didn't have to do it incredibly illegally. So that was great. Snuck that in. And then it was a pretty solid wedding. I was on I would say my time on the dance floor was quantity, not quality. I was not giving it my all on the dance floor, but I was out there almost the whole night. So just, didn't make any heroic plays, was just out there. And then on Saturday, the only thing I can think of is I had absolutely phenomenal donuts from a hole-in-the-wall type establishment. They don't need any free pub, but I'll give it to them. It's called Donut Cutter, which is a pretty funny name, on Woodward Ave. And it reminds us, for those that know Tecumseh, of a Lev's type thing, but the people that were at this one were a little bit friendlier than what I've heard and I've experienced sometimes at Lev's. Lev's, you really need to be on the game. They don't like to waste their time there. And I don't blame them because they've probably been up since 4 a.m. baking donuts for our fat asses. So they just want to kind of get people out the door. But we didn't get there till like 11:30, which is once you get there, with the donut establishment, donuts could be gone by then. They don't keep making them throughout the day. It's first come, first serve. And thankfully there was probably 20 donuts left. Just wanted 6 of them. I know people are shocked. Grant, you probably seem like a guy that would eat a dozen because I've talked about eating a dozen in previous shows. But 6 was enough. And I just haven't had a good Boston cream in my life in so long. Yeah, Alex, you make that face. Boston creams, so good. Phenomenal. And I'm dying for Alex to try this, and it's a crime that I haven't been there sooner. So that was very memorable from this weekend.
Why don't you want Evan to try it?
Evan can try it too. I'm just saying
That was super mean.
You live 7 minutes away from this place, so
Sorry,
we
Evan,
both
you disrespected you
we
like
both,
that.
Alex, are idiots for not having tried this sooner, for living here almost 2 years and not having tried it. It is pretty embarrassing.
I feel totally fine.
Well, you shouldn't. Well, you will know what you're missing out on when you try this Boston creme.
All right, looking forward to it.
Now, Evan,
Let's
for
see.
your week.
We can review. I'm pretty sure, didn't it rain all week last week?
Rained a lot.
Rained a lot.
Rained in Augusta too.
School sucked. Augusta. ESPN Plus, bad coverage of the Masters. I mean, there was the feature groups, but I think the feature groups were that good from when I was watching it. Obviously, Tiger was in it, unfortunately. Shout out Colby for helping with my exam on Wednesday. That was fun.
Did you say unfortunately that Tiger played?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Tiger. I didn't care for watching him. I did watch them on Thursday just because everybody else was, and there was only 2 groups to watch, so I did watch them on Friday, yes.
You under the weather? You sound a little sick.
Because I cheer so hard, Alex, that's why. I don't feel sick.
Cheer for what?
You saw me yesterday. The Tigers.
Oh, the television.
You're so... Never mind. I'm moving on.
For the record, I'm a little confused too.
He's
Well, he
confusing
didn't sound
himself.
sick yesterday, and he sounds sick today, so I was just wondering what happened.
I don't know.
Dr.
Then
Gillen
you said
over
you
here.
were cheering for the Tigers.
I did not. I was unfortunate. I wasn't able to watch the Tigers today. Moving on. Thanks for interrupting me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. No problem. I can do it again.
Yeah, I know you will. So Thursday, watched the Masters basically all day. Then Friday, made the trip to GV, to Grand Rapids. Shout out Corm.
Good vagina.
Oh, yes. New university.
Call back.
Renaming it.
Young Gravy. Lil Dicky.
Was supposed to have a golf tournament on Sunday. So Friday, hung out, drank, had a quality time. Saturday, did the same thing. Hung out, drank, went to the range. Unfortunately, broke my golf club, well, my driver on the range on Saturday. And got the bad news on Saturday that we will not be playing in the golf tournament because the course is too wet and they weren't allowing us to have golf carts. So they pushed it back to the 24th, I believe it is.
Classic soft America we live in.
I know. Come on. Let us tear up your nice golf course. Yeah, but Great Valley was super fun. Played a lot of pool, like Alex did. Played some
Pocket
euchre.
or billiards?
Both. Billiards. Didn't play that much pocket because I was only around with guys. So, it was good. It was a quality time. Let's see what happened. Well,
It sounds like you made the most of it considering the circumstances.
I did. I enjoyed it. It was good to get away from East Lansing a little bit, hang out in a different environment. And then golf league yesterday. That was my highlights. Alex, you want to touch on your round or my round first?
Doesn't matter. Whatever you want.
Okay, so we are facing the reigning third, fourth place finishers, I think. We are third place finishers. Not a sick brag, Alex. Can't see all the way down there on the bottom.
I think we finished the same as you, or one behind you, or one above you.
You finished
That's
second?
quite the outcome. That's
You
quite the
finished
range.
third?
Yeah.
I think we finished fourth.
Back-to-back
so we really
third-place
weren't
finishers,
looking
bro.
up.
Cold, rainy. When I left East Lansing, it said it was going to be sunny and only a 30% chance of rain. As soon as I got to Jackson, it was downpouring and it rained until we got onto like hole 3 or 4. Unfortunate. Did not bring enough layers. I persevered. Played quality opponents, but they had a rough first start. Shot a 45, just played bogey golf, and I'm not really upset with my game, I would say, besides just me just messing up around the greens. I mean, I was 2-putting, 3-putting everything. If I did 2-putt, I was just butchering chip shots close. Tee-box was fine. Fairway was fine. Get me close to the green. It was miserable. That being said,
How many points did you take?
Huh?
How many points did you take?
Oh, we took 20. We're tied for first right now.
20 out of 30 for those listening.
Correct.
Nice.
Just absolutely just mollywopped them. Yeah, I don't think there was any highlights. Just overall, I was pretty happy with it. Being the first time out. Not that many good scores out there from what I heard, so I mean, I was kind of on the lower end.
Do people just kind of jump the broom and drink too much on their first round of the year because everyone's just so fired up to be back together?
I would say no. There's only a couple people. Rye Guy is one of them. But most of the time, not until like the first like really warm day, and then that's when it was balls in the wall.
Most people the first week haven't really swung a club.
True.
So everyone's just kind of like trying to figure out how to golf again.
Like uncomfortable and just stiff and feeling unathletic.
A lot of bad scores week one usually. Anything else, Evan?
Not really. It was kind of a weird start because we didn't start at 5:30. We started at 5. So when I teed off, I think only half the teams were actually at the course. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I had just gotten there.
I barely saw anybody before I got back in.
Mm.
A lot of new faces on the league. I can say that.
Wow,
Yeah.
noobs.
Yeah.
You have to kick their ass all year.
Free
Well,
money.
I played some noobs. Some newbies. So the bad part about playing newbies week 1 is they don't have a handicap, so it's really hard to win because they're just going to get 80% of whatever they shoot, and that's their handicap. So you have to virtually shoot your handicap or better, and it's the first week. So obviously I didn't do that because our handicaps carry over. My actual golf game, my first tee shot went 30 yards dead right behind a tree. So that was my start. Had to punch out, do all sorts of crap. Second hole, same tee shot. So we're talking 0 for 2 from the tee box. And 6 over through 2.
Gillen fairway and regulation bettors were just absolutely punching their television screens watching you on the first two
hit
holes.
zero fairways for the bettors.
Oh my god! Imagine parlaying 9 no's. That would have been a fat payout.
So with that being said, I never really figured out how to hit the driver. I kind of bagged it after a little bit.
Poor driver.
Hit my irons all right, for getting the kinks out a little bit. Chipped decent. Did chip in for a birdie.
Wow, the Scheffler.
So that was nice to get on the birdie lead. Or I'm not the leader, but beating Evan in our side bet this year already that we made after the round.
The asterisks.
So. You're muted, Evan.
I forgot about that. Yeah, asterisks about that, kind of. But does the first round count?
Warm up round like in bowling.
It's up to you. I'll let you decide.
I'm in.
Where your integrity is.
I don't back out.
Oh. All right. But I get a half a birdie for all my birdies, and Evan gets a full. So
sick. Brag.
Well, you do have a hole in one, so
I do.
That's the price you have to. That's the price you pay when you get a hole in one.
Hey, shout out Cliff, longtime member at.
He dunked one.
Yeah, he had his 8th hole in one of his career.
What?
That is impressive.
He was in there bragging about it. There,
I knew he had a few.
That's crazy.
It's a lot.
That's so many.
Yeah. Other than that, so like I said, we played newbies. They felt like they were playing pretty good, but they both shot in the mid 50s.
Wait,
my partner
on 9.
Grant. No, they shot 50 on 18, and they broke the course record.
Those are some good noobs. No, okay,
no, just
mid 50s on 9. Jeez.
Grant, that I've seen you shoot worse than that plenty of times.
I know, but I expect more of this league.
Like I said, I think Evan's partners were both in the mid 50s too. So there was a lot of big scores.
I would have gone 65 then. Jeez.
My partner is my father, and he played well, even through 5 or 6 holes, maybe 2 triples down the stretch. Tough, but at the end of the day, we took 15 out of 30, so we split. So only 5 points back after 1 week when there's 18 weeks is not that big of a deal. And Evan's gone from the Zoom.
Yeah, he was frozen, but he gets back so fast. Though I can see his face frozen for a while, just sitting there like, oh, he definitely froze. Fastest
I think
join backer in the
18
country.
weeks.
That's a lot. That's a grind.
Yeah, so lots of time to come back.
So do you play each team potentially twice?
Not every team, because there's 14 teams.
But most teams you play twice?
No, you only play a couple teams twice. And position night, you could end up playing a team.
You play everybody once. Position night, so there's going to be an overlap. Whoever you played previously, you might not play anybody. Or the team that you played position night the first night, you might not have played them already. And then if there's no rain makeups, like last year that we didn't have any rain makeups, we played the first 3 weeks. Whoever you played the first 3 weeks, just over again. So we played, I think, 4 or 5 of the same teams.
Yeah. Around like 4 teams twice, the rest just once, unless you play someone on position night.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, we transition with that golf talk into some national golf talk to recap the biggest golf event of the year, every year. And I'll start it. This Masters to me was boring with a capital B. And that's mainly because there's no real drama at all down the back nine. You could say Cam Smith dunking it on 12 in the water, but at that, he still wasn't really nipping there. And I'm, as we know, I'm not the most diehard golf fan, and diehard golf fans just love watching good golf, so there probably isn't a bad Masters to them. This was a bad and boring Masters to me. But curious your guys' thoughts on what you saw today, or this last weekend.
I would agree with what you said in the sense that to a casual fan, it probably sucked. Because no drama. But for me personally, I love watching the Masters regardless. And I like watching, guys that are dialed in and playing well. I appreciate that. I'm not the guy that wants to see just complete train wrecks on the golf course. I don't like when the golfers aren't beating the course and they're struggling. Like US Open, impossible. I don't like that. I'd rather see them play in perfect conditions and just spin shots and dunk shots. I think that's way better. So I liked watching it. I did not think it sucked, but I'm more of a serious golf fan, I guess.
I agree with that. I like low scores. I will say it is funny. You feel bad, but also funny to watch a guy implode the way Cam Smith did. You're just like, oh my God. He might, because you're just on club throw watch. You're like, what is he about to do? Because it just,
I felt bad for him.
And it's not relatable because he's still playing very well, but it's relatable in the sense of how mad he probably was feeling in the moment. Evan, your thoughts on the Masters?
I was 50-50. I mean, I still fully enjoyed watching it. Just obviously because the scores weren't the best, and at one point there was only 7 people under par. So I think that's why it kind of drew people away from it. Not a lot of good scores, so the action isn't going to be as high or exciting, and there's not a lot of known names on the top of the leaderboard for majority of the rounds. There towards the end, I know Rory played well, Colin Morikawa played well, but the entire time was basically Scotty Scheffler and everyone else. So I think that's why people were a little upset about it. But other than that, I mean, I still enjoyed it. And every year there's going to be one tournament that it's just their tournament, and they're going to run with it. And Scotty Scheffler's playing the best golf right now, so.
Number 1 golfer in the world.
Tip your cap to him.
Mother effing Scheffler. I went back. I knew of him, everyone kind of did just lately when he's been on this tear. And I went back to the Ryder Cup time because I remember I was I definitely tweeted about this guy. And what it was, I found the tweet. It was during the NFL season because I wrote, "We interrupt your Lions coverage to let you know that this man is dominating world number 1 John Rahm." And it was just a headshot of Scotty Scheffler at the time because he was he's still good because he made the Ryder Cup team, but relatively unknown to most people. And it was just his innocent looking headshot. Turns out he's 6'3", stud on the golf course dude. Some of his finishes on shots were unbelievable where he was just leaning back.
There it is. There's that word.
Some of his finishes on his shots were flashy. The way he would just tilt back and throw his hips through and he just would try to munch. He would try to. He's not lazy on the bottom of his golf swing. I'll tell you that. He would just absolutely munch golf balls, just trying to step on them in the last round in the Masters. And then obviously his short game was so sweet. So that was cool. And then obviously you had the moment of Rory and Colin, which personally helped me. But just those two guys just back to back making shots from the bunker was unbelievable. And I heard someone say, I think it was the foreplay guys were saying, imagine that, Alex, that was unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Just letting you know.
That one was deserved. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was.
But imagine betting Rory McIlroy to win that hole, because in the big tournaments you can bet who's going to win the hole. Imagine betting Rory. He hits it in the bunker, you're oh, he makes it. You're oh my God, and then Colin steps up and also makes it. That would be an all-time.
Do people do those bets?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are big time.
There was a bunch of player props, who's going to win Amen Corner in the group, who's going to win on this hole.
Were you guys in on these, or?
No, I gave up betting after the first round. I lost every single one of my master bets in the first round. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I saw my DraftKings account just dwindle in front of me. Also, doesn't help. I was betting heavy on the Tigers on Saturday and Sunday after Friday's opening day.
False hope.
Yeah, last Masters, I got into like the fairway to hit a fairway, yes or no, to hit a green, yes or no, and like, will any of these three make a birdie on the 13th? Like, those are very fun bets because they're usually like plus money too. And if you can get a feel for how a certain hole's playing that day, you're like, oh yeah, Tiger's definitely gonna birdie this hole, and you can just place it, and it's very fun to root for. It's one of the more exciting, like, kind of betting in sports, watching golf and just rooting for a ball to hit a fairway with the tracer. But I just did like 3 pre-tournament bets all on one guy, Morikawa, and just said I'm just going to do that.
I should say this. My betting was first round. I don't think anybody will have had like jumped out to a huge lead yet. And I looked at it. Grant had money on Colin. I was like, you know what? I like Colin. It hadn't even teed off yet. And I was like, Colin's going to be leading after the first round. Not even 30 minutes later, Cameron Smith goes on his tear, birding like 4 or 5 of like his next 8 holes, and he's up to 500. And I was like, well, that's over.
Yeah. And then, Cam Smith was crazy. And then that leads into
on day one.
Our picks recap. We can just kind of look at it on our first one. Well, Evan, not so fast. There was some but there's an eh. So for Alex, you had Dustin Johnson as a favorite, T12.
Made the cut.
Adam Scott, long shot, T48.
Made the cut. Not bad.
My favorite was Cam Smith, who finished T3. Didn't feel T3 because he choked so bad on the last day. Like, he had a real chance to win it. And then Max Homa, T48, like Adam Scott.
Made the cut.
Now, Evan did the old flip-flop, which is almost more impressive. Jordan Spieth favorite, miscut. Tommy Fleetwood, T14 as the underdog. So kind of impressive if you spin zone it that way, that your long shot had some value. And then my very last question for you guys is, if you were Scotty Scheffler on Sunday, stepping into the 18th tee with that narrow little chute there in the bunkers and all that, you have a 5-stroke lead like he did. Are you winning the Masters?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I mean, that probably sounds arrogant, but
no, I think. Yeah. Jeez, come on. Got to make like a 10 or a 9.
9 to tie.
I mean, just take out
9 to tie, 10 to lose.
10 to lose.
Just take out an iron and whack away.
I'm definitely making a 10 or higher. There's no chance I'm winning the Masters.
I mean, I'm going to be nervous.
Put your driver away.
Tee shot would matter a lot.
Dude, that shoot
if you
is
duff
so
the
tight.
tee shot,
I swear that 18
so tight.
fairway, it just keep on getting tighter and tighter every single year.
And they keep moving the tee box back, it feels like, and you're just farther and farther. Like, I would hit only my 7-iron to get there on close to the green, because if I try a drive, it's OB. And
what's the distance on the hole?
It's I have this pulled up. All right, at least I had it. Let me find it for you guys. It's well over, like, I want to say it's a 456-yard par 4.
Yeah, no, I'm doing it. I'm hitting like 6-iron a few times, and I'm just gonna whack away on the putting.
See, I was thinking, lay up,
with that many
get to
people,
the green, and then 4-putt, boom.
Yeah,
and like the Masters on the line, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not pulling driver. If I pull driver, I top it, and it's going to be a really bad hole. But I'm just going to pull a 6-iron, which I know I'm going to hit at least through the chute.
Yeah, it's 465. The chute is the biggest thing, because if you go left or right and you have to re-tee or anything, that's when it's like, oh, I don't think there's any chance if I have a chance if my first shot's OB.
Right, that's why you pull an iron and you pop it through.
And then just find a pedestrian and just let it bounce off of them.
There's also like massive fairway bunkers and massive green sign bunkers that we saw Rory and Colin make it out of. There's no chance I'm even getting out of that bunker if I'm in it. How big it is.
You can get out of those bunkers.
But here's the thing. If you make it into one of those bunkers, you won't lose your ball. You know where it's at. There's no trees in the way in those bunkers.
Yeah, honestly, that's not the worst spot.
If you're just trying to make a 10, those bunkers aren't the worst spot because you know where your ball is going to be.
It's the only thing I would be worried about is the tee shot. I think if you get through the chute, you'll be fine. Me and Evan, at least. I don't know about you, Grant.
Promise you, if I got in either the left or the right side green bunker, that my bunker shot would then go across the green into the other bunker, and I would just be bunkering back and forth until I made a 13. And then
You could just take your putter out and putt it out.
Amanda Balionis would have to call Rory because he already went home to his hotel because I was up 5. Said, Rory, we need you to come back and put on the green jacket. Grant just pissed on his leg, metaphorically and literally, on the 18th green. He's actually peeing.
Dude, if you went in one of those greenside bunkers, you could just hit it out backwards into the fairway and then chip back on.
I'd be putting back on.
You have 9 shots.
I also think from everything I've heard, the undulations of the greens at Augusta we can't even fathom them on TV. We don't even know how.
I'm sure the putting's hard. No one said that Evan and I are making par.
No, I said I was 4 putting.
I'm just not making a 9. I'll be so conservative that I make a 7.
Putted.
And he won.
And he's Scotty Scheffler, but I'm not. And none of us are Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, no. I just
wanted to see if I could talk you guys into it because it was like a no-brainer. Yes, there's no chance I'm winning the Masters.
The only way you make that big of a number is if you lose a ball. If you have to take a penalty, then you could be in trouble. But I don't see it.
Yeah.
I'm winning.
I think it's an auto double bogey for all of us, and then that's where it gets interesting because 2 more mess up shots. You mess up 2 more shots 3 more shots to tie. Yeah.
So I would play for a 6.
Play for an 8.
I'm playing for an 8.
I'm gonna accept the 8 when I get the 8, but I'm playing for a 6 in my head when I start, so I know I have some room to mess up.
All right. Baseball now. Quick reactions again. We only seen a couple games, but Javier Baez is the best shortstop in the entire league, and Austin Meadows might be the best trade the Tigers have ever made outside of Miguel Cabrera. Overreactions.
I was gonna say Javi Baez also. I was gonna say the same things as you, really. Torkelson's a bust. How about an overreaction? There you go.
Mize is not the ace on this team. Matt Manning is.
Yes, these are good overreactions. Evan, they're jokes. Relax.
Eric Haas better than Tucker Barnhart.
Austin Meadows will hit 325 this year.
Austin Meadows will walk 68,000 times this year. Some pace.
Yes, Robbie Grossman.
This is actually a fact. Torkelson has been given the strictest strike zone in the league, from what I saw.
I did see that today.
That one screenshot of his at bat where he struck out and
gross.
All 5 pitches were balls was like, okay, whatever that ump is smoking, pass it on.
Cabrera's going to have 150 RBIs.
Cabrera is winning the Triple Crown. No, but seriously, this is the beauty of it because I actually saw people panicked about this team. I think legitimately after the last game of the White Sox series, and it's like, okay, guys, there's 162 games. We need to pace ourselves. Like we're day drinking. We need to start with water.
Be around 500.
What are we 2-3 right now?
Yeah, be around 500 at the end of May. Yeah, because you could be a lot better than 8-17 than you were.
Definitely.
If you're just not 8-17, you're probably all right.
And if tomorrow, all I'm saying is just sprinkle redemption, revenge game for Eduardo.
Oh,
yes. Are you pitching tomorrow? Is that game at 1?
Yes.
Do we have any night games for a while?
When we go to Kansas City, most of them are night games.
Because it's kind of hard to watch games when you're at work.
If you need a spin zone with your friends that maybe aren't Tigers fans or your coworkers that are like, oh, that Torkelson's not playing so good, just tell him that he went to Arizona State. He's a warm month guy, so he just needs to get lubed up. Lubed up this first couple months.
He had his first hit today, so he's back.
I had that same spin zone. It was a pretty bad hit.
It was lucky, but it was a hit.
He was born. Torkelson was born in 1999, and Rich Hill was drafted in 1999.
Crazy.
Joe Manning was drafted in 2016.
Yeah, he was in the minors for a while.
He's been working his way around.
Oh, Alex, player control.
Service time.
5 years.
All right, we'll look forward to more Tigers talk. Hopefully they are relevant. Unlike the team we're about to talk to next, the Pistons were only relevant because of one player and one player only. Frank Jackson. Just
Killian
kidding.
Hayes.
Cade Cunningham.
I hate all the Piston fans that are out on Killian Hayes at the beginning of the year and last year, and now he's going to be a very, very, very good role player for the Pistons in the future.
Told Grant 8,000 times that Killian Hayes didn't play 82 games until a week ago.
He's 19 years old.
Full season. Yeah, no, I know he's young. I've tried to tell Grant this 100 times. Grant told me he was out in him in week 4.
You guys are still talking to me because I think at best he's our sixth man. He can be the backup point guard.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
he did draft him at 7.
For the 7th pick, yeah.
You'd like him
Some
to
of
be a
the draft picks
starter.
that we've had.
But he's still 19.
Oh,
He's still
the teasers.
Yeah, little teaser. He's still 19. I totally get that. And we'll get into like just potential things we think they could do. But I want to start with setting the table, so we really all know what we're working from here. So we were 23 and 59 this year, third
Yummy.
worst in the
Yummy.
third worst in the NBA.
Never forget, Grant said this team would be playing in the
yeah,
playoff.
I laughed at him.
Yeah.
They should be playing right now versus the Nets.
This season was a disappointment in my mind.
That
I
would've
thought
go
this team
well.
would be better. Top 4 odds for a top 4 pick are 52.1%. And to get the top pick in the draft is once again, like last year, 14%. In our last 10 games, for keeping with how good was our tank, we lost our last 3, which was clutch, and we were 4-6 in the last 10. So we actually almost screwed ourselves out of getting the best odds, but we pulled together. We sat the right guys. And then again, housekeeping things here. Points leader was Jeremy Grant with 19 points per game. He only played in 47 games though, so just over half. He was hurt a lot of January. Cade was really the points leader in my mind with 17 points per game because he played north of 60 games. Shout out right now for the Iron Man, Sadiq Bey, played all 82 games. That is unbelievable. Oh, it's not unbelievable. That is rare in today's game. That is rare.
3.
Impressive.
We're at 3.
And
in
you know
this
what?
show alone.
It's something about Villanova guys, because another one that played all
Mikal
82 was
Bridges.
Mikal Bridges. I think we all saw the same post, but those Villanova guys, that Jay Wright culture, they just show up and they play games and they get buckets. Our assist leader, Cade, 6 assists per game. Chop Killian. You'd think your point guard would be able to have more, but Cade, because Cade is amazing.
Take it easy on the guy.
All right. You're right. I'll take a break from our rebound leader, Isaiah Stewart, 9 rebounds per game. Pretty impressive for being undersized at his position. Shout out to Isaiah Stewart for grinding.
Say something nice about Killian.
He's got good fashion.
Good looking dude. Pause.
Good looking dude. Boss.
So I want to start with the more broad question. What is your guys' grade for the Pistons this season on a report card?
D+. We went 23 and 59. I mean, I'm not going to say it as a
C plus?
D+.
D plus.
I said C.
Yeah.
I'll say C minus.
All right, right in the same spot.
I'll go.
You better say F because you said they were making the playoffs.
I'll go D.
Good.
D's nuts. No, actually, an actual D, because there was like a little bit of bright spots. Like Cade ended up being what I envisioned him to be, and I enjoyed the Marvin Bagley acquisition later in the year. So I think they're building the right way. I just thought it was going to happen faster. So that was the main thing. Next question. How much faith do you guys have in Troy Weaver and the direction of this franchise on a scale of 1 to 10?
8.
6.5.
Oh, expand on that, Evan. What gave you pause?
We don't have a lot of validation or years behind it that give me like great confidence. And I just hate the Kelly Olynyk signing. Absolutely hate every single second about that. So that's just hanging over my head. Like, hey,
So that dropped him
Like
a couple points because of Kelly Olynyk.
A dark
just
cloud.
solely based off of I don't know what's going to happen. And
He's drafted well.
6.5. When he drafts Chet Holmgren, then I'll never cheer for the Pistons again, and I will leave when you guys want to talk about it.
Oh,
Evan.
speaking of that, Evan, I have bad news for you. I was reading a nice little athletic article today from James Edwards III, who is their athletics beat writer. He's around the team a lot, and he did his first mock draft scenario. And the first tankathon spin was if we get the first pick, and he picked Chet Holmgren because he was doing it as if he were a Pistons guy, because he says the intel he has right now is that Chet sits atop the draft board for the Pistons.
No, Chet didn't like Kay Cunningham's tweet that said Detroit versus everybody.
That's true.
Hello and Jabari did.
That's true. And you cannot.
That's
cannot
why you draft
replace
players.
friendship.
Twitter.
Yeah, it's the NBA, Alex. They gotta be buddies.
I just want to see, I want to give Troy Weaver some more time. That's why it's so low. I don't hate him or want to get rid of him yet. I don't have 8 or 9 confidence right now.
Fair. Now, I guess to be on the other side of the coin, I have an 8.5 confidence. You're making me think it's too high. But we have to think about this. It was like a 9.5 going into the year because we did not mess up drafting Cade, And I like
Yours should be lower because of your expectations.
But that's also has to do with like coaching and players playing. Like once he gets the pieces in play, it's not Troy's fault that
it's his fault that he took those players and that coach. It's actually all his fault always.
Yeah, but it's also still like building. Anyways, the reason it's 8.5 is it came down from like a 9.5 or like trusted him at everything because I like the Bagley deal. So again, he stayed around in the 8s. If he didn't make the Bagley deal, it'd be lower. But I will say this, the Carson Edwards deal, not a lot of money, but very strange to me. I just don't know what we're doing, like guaranteeing someone 2 years on a contract for a couple $1 million. Like I just don't understand. Like the guy hasn't really worked out anywhere. I hope he works out, and then I'll be like, all right, back up to a 9 for Troy. But that was just a little head scratching. And so, and like I said, the biggest thing remaining for him in his grade, where I think his money will be earned, is 3 things. Jeremy Grant, what do you do with him? Which we can talk about briefly. And then this year's free agency class and draft class. This whole offseason is the biggest offseason to date for Troy Weaver. He came in, he did the kind of easy thing of removing everyone, but he did it kind of masterfully. Like he did a very good job identifying projects and get rid of like everyone from our roster that was terrible. And then he had a layup, not hard to draft Cade Cunningham, that was gifted to you. Now comes the hard part of trading a like top 50, top 60 player in the NBA, production wise. And then what do you do with free agency? Can you lure a big free agent? So curious your guys' thoughts on what maybe he would do that would tickle your fancy in the offseason.
Sign a big name. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Kyrie Irving?
Don't.
Oh,
No.
I just wanted to clarify what we meant by big name here.
All right. Maybe not a big name for what people are thinking, but
Like the right big name.
Like a Miles Bridges, I would be very excited about. Not a huge name, but a really good player. And am I biased towards him? Yes. But he's really good.
I wanted to be like, what college did you go to, Alex? But I can't even do that because Miles Bridges
Do I have a jersey?
He's a great player. He's a solid player. He's a solid player that this team can
A
use.
good starter.
No doubt.
In the league.
I would say sign somebody that's going to fit the culture and the scheme, get more athletic, and then draft Paolo or Jabari.
What if they're gone, Evan, and we have the 4th pick?
We're not going to have the 4th pick.
For what it's worth, if we have the 4th pick, James Edwards III had Keegan Murray going to us based on his intel. That we would take Keegan Murray over Jaden Ivey, which I found a little interesting. I don't disagree with it, but I find it interesting.
Okay with it? There's literally only one person I don't want, so.
Chet, you betcha.
For the record, I don't want Chet either, just so we're clear.
I agree. I don't want him as of now. And I don't think that's going to change based on what, I don't know.
But if he falls to 4 and we're at 4, I'm not going to hate it.
Somebody come up and trade for him.
Yeah, I like that. I want to give out a stat line here of, and don't worry for those like more free agent talk. We'll get into that, as the season. We got a lot. We got one show a week. We got saved topics for when they happen. We'll get more.
There's lots of NBA playoffs.
So much left. Yeah, we have to get to the playoffs first. But stat line, people love stat lines, comparisons, all that stuff. I found a nice juicy one from Cade's year and then a player last year. Cade's stat line of the stats that really matter this year. Not all the advanced stuff. That's over my head, some of it. Cade played 64 games, 17 points per game. I'm rounding up or down on depending on the 0.5 line, just so everyone knows. 6 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game. So 17, 6, 6. 42% field goal shooting, 31% from 3. So a little efficiency can be boosted there, but that tends to happen for rookies. He also was like taking like a bunch of threes a game. So naturally, you're not going to make up all of them. Now, Ja Morant, last year, Rookie of the Year. Star in this league already. 67 games, only 3 more. 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. So going back, Cade had 17, 6, 6. Ja, 18, 4, 7. Ja was a little bit more efficient shooting. He was shot 48% from the field and 34% from 3. But just so we keep this in context, Cade basically walked into the league and put up damn near Ja Morant numbers, and Ja Morant was in MVP talks his second year in the league. So if you're going to get all aboard the hype train. I think you have every right to get aboard the hype train for our Cade Cunningham being in MVP discussions by 2025 at the latest. And I fully believe that. I also have this hot take. I don't know if it's even a hot take. I think Cade will look at Cade when he gets to as many years in the league as Devin Booker has played, as Cade being better than Devin Booker. Like that type of player. Like that good. I really do.
Did you see the ESPN rankings of the top NBA players under the age of 25 today?
I did see that come across my timeline. I think Cade will be better than LaMelo Ball as well. I saw he was ranked.
I mean, he's like 5th in the top 20 of the 25.
Yes.
He's ahead of a lot of good players.
Yes.
So, I think a lot of people are high on him.
As they should. One last tidbit of the stat dive. A big thing with Cade is he did not get a friendly whistle this year whatsoever. He only shot 3 free throws a game, which is pretty crazy considering he averaged 17. For comparison, in Ja Morant's rookie year, he got 5 per game, and Luka got 7 per game. Luka Doncic got 7, not Luka Garza. No offense, Luka. Luka Doncic got 7 free throws per game his rookie year. So if those numbers increase, as you do when you become a star in this league, only more points. He'll be a 20-point per game guy before we even know it. Very exciting stuff.
Looking forward to it.
Which is my question for you guys, the next one. Should Cade Cunningham be the rookie of the year?
Yes.
Yes, he has all the stats to back it up, and
It's a joke if he's not.
driving force behind one of the lower teams. He had to do a lot more. It's easy to succeed when you go into a better overall team. Cleveland, yes, they are young, but they have better talent on their roster. They're deeper. And same with Toronto. They still had 2 potential all-stars.
I mean, both playoff teams.
Correct. And so that's why everybody's holding those rookies, Mobley and Scotty Barnes, above Cade Cunningham, because they say, well, these teams made the playoffs. But I think you look at the roster overall, those teams are just better in general.
Yeah.
100%. We still had like a ton of minutes going to Frank Jackson, Hamidou Diallo, and
Corey Joseph.
Corey Giuseppe.
C-Joe.
There's just so many guys when you look at our roster of like the guys that played the bulk of minutes. We're like, ugh. And are we all biased? Yes. Have I watched Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes play 5 minutes of basketball this year? No, not even 5 minutes. I don't need to though, because I know. Okay, that does sound ignorant. Because like, what if they are really good?
They are good players.
But I just can't imagine they are closing out games in the fourth quarter, which is a huge mark of. All NBA games are kind of a joke until you get to like the last 5 minutes if it's relatively tight, and especially you can watch in the playoffs this year. Like that's when the cream rises to the top and you figure out who's legit and not. And Cade Cunningham, although it was a regular season on a bad team, he was the guy scoring 8 to 10 points in the fourth quarter in crunch time when we needed it, going shot for shot with Kevin Durant in a tight loss. Like those other rookies are not doing that. Scotty Barnes might be a great defender. He's not doing that. And with Evan Mobley, he's not bringing the ball up the floor and creating shots for himself. He needs someone to enter the ball to him. So it's just a different workload being asked of Cade Cunningham. And yeah, should be rookie of the year. If you look at all the points per game leaders, which he is, they typically win rookie of the year. And like that alone with the amount of games he played, I don't see how he wouldn't. I don't think he's going to, which would be very sad. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
Financially,
Scotty
a little
Barnes
bit
is good.
Like
I
hypothetically,
think you kind of chopped him too much.
Hypothetically, if you took like a profit boost on DraftKings the night of the draft for him, that would be pretty sweet if that came to fruition. But other than that, it doesn't really matter.
No, doesn't really matter, and he could still win. It's not like the voting is out, and we know he lost.
But if he doesn't win, there's no reason why us three should not get all NBA and Rookie of the Year award votes. We 100% should be a media member crew that gets to decide these awards.
Regardless of what that result is, we should have votes. But, someday.
Well, if they gave it to Cade, I'm going to be like, I trust the people in charge right now.
I trust ourselves.
And then my last question, a little teasing into the future as well, is in your guys' opinion, try to sum it down to one main thing, and then you can kind of go off to maybe 1B or 1C. But what is the main thing that this team is missing to make that coveted play-in tournament or make a push for the division and playoffs? What's missing?
Athletic depth on the roster.
So you're saying like and I agree with that. Like, so when our second unit comes in, it's not just like an automatic 10-point run for the other team. Like, we need to be more well-rounded where we're not giving up the first unit's effort.
You need solid names and solid athletic players coming off the bench that you know can probably hang in there or even get a bucket by themselves. You're not looking at the second group coming in, half of them, you're like, oh, this guy's coming in.
All right. Like, a great guy for the second unit one day would be Killian Hayes. You know, have that guy come off the bench and just keep things afloat, keep things moving.
Still wouldn't mind if he was a 6-man.
If he's good, sure.
I would. Killian Hayes would be a great 6-man.
Andre Iguodala was the 6-man, and he won it. NBA Finals MVP.
Now, well, Alex, he started in those games because they did the whole 5 small guy
6-man. Draymond Green was the 6-man as well.
Again, he started in those finals. But anyways.
So I agree. Depth is important for this team, but I'll do something different. I'll say another dude, like a top 25 player in the league type of like star, like another star to pair with Cade. Because I don't think anyone on the roster is a star. Good players, but Sadiq is not a star.
I think he's going to be a star.
He could be. I'm just saying as of right now.
Sadiq could pull like a Rip Hamilton all-star appearance out of his butt one year. Like, you know, he just...
I mean, I don't think we're going to look at Sadiq Bey like we look at some of the other second stars on teams right now. Like, are we going to look at Sadiq Bey like a Chris Middleton?
I was just about to say that, yes. By the time he's that age, yes.
He'll be as good.
Very well could be.
Yeah. Like, I definitely think Sadiq Bey could average 20 points in a playoff series when it matters, when he's like 27 years old.
Hey, I like Sadiq, so I hope he is, but I still think we need another dude.
So, and that's a perfect point because that was my main thing. I'll pivot, but I want to go back to Alex's. You know what? I'll do Alex's point now just to keep that flowing. My initial thought was we need another 20-point per game guy. But if you want to go contrarian to Alex, you could do, because I was looking at kind of the teams that are top of the league right now, and there's like the Boston format where they have Tatum and Brown, who each average over 20 points per game and are like the guys, or there's the Phoenix Suns model or the Memphis Grizzlies model where you have a guy who gets 25 a game, like Devin Booker and John Morant. That could be Cade Cunningham. And then you have like 3 to 4, 15 to 18 point per guy games underneath him. We could go that route. So we could have Cade as the guy making that leap to 25 a game, and then surrounding him with a Sadiq, a Paolo, and then a Miles Bridges, all can slot in around that 20 through 15 tier, and now you got a real team there. There's a couple ways you can go about it.
Excited to see what we do.
Yeah, there's a lot of routes. But my other one, if we're gonna do a third bucket, just to hit all the points that I think they could really use, is they could use a legit alpha point guard, ball handler guard outside of Cade. So like, he can be the guy with the ball in his hands all the time, or you have like a Jalen Brunson who can fill it up and also get you like, you know, six assists. I should have picked like 5. Would be much easier to say. 5 assists per game as well. You know, like 16 points per game, 5 assists alongside Cade to relieve some of that stress. Because like right now, again, he can make the jump. He's very young.
Are you chopping Killian again?
He's only scoring 7 points per game. He's shooting like 25% from 3, like 35% from the field. It's just so gross and it's so inefficient. He's still very young. Very, very young. I want to keep hammering that home. But like, you put a 16 point per game guard next to Cade, I'd be very curious what that looks like. The way they do it with Luka, and Cade gets compared to having a similar play style to Luka all the time. Slow, methodical, gets to where he wants to go, and Jalen Brunson has thrived next to him. So I think, he's a free agent. You make that move, wouldn't hate it. But also the flexibility.
Already rumored interest.
I'm also very comfortable, very, very comfortable with Cade just having the ball in his hands every possession and being the point guard as well. Totally fine with me. Like Kevin Durant said, when you have a 6'7" point guard, things are tough.
I don't disagree.
I can't tell if Evan's frozen this time. He definitely is.
Wow. I thought he was just really still.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes. And then obviously, as we kind of wait for him to come back, the biggest thing will just be like what happens with Jeremy Grant. But I think for now, the best thing to do is just kind of wait until we see what happens with that, and then we'll react to the news. Still really good though. When I was looking at his stats, I'm like, he didn't play enough games as you'd want, but still can go out there. I mean, and get 40 points.
I asked you the other day if it would be worth just keeping him.
The only thing with the timeline, the dirty T word timeline, is that he's getting closer to 30. He'll be here. He'll be 30 before we know it, and then it's like I don't know. But
eventually, you're gonna have some older guys on the team at some point. It's not going to be a 22-year-old forever.
Caden Sadiq will be 32 before we know it.
I hope my next 10 years don't go that fast.
Evan, you didn't miss much. I just basically said, I think you probably heard some of it, like that the other route would just be getting another guard to play alongside Cade. That's like pretty legit.
Yeah, ball handler. Somebody can get their own bucket.
And you can always go, we could also go like the massive center route. The guy's going to grab you 12 rebounds a game and get you 15, but that's kind of scary in today's NBA.
Yeah, it is. I'm more of an athletic, be as athletic as possible. Because teams aren't really dumping it down low anymore. You don't really need to defend the post or back to the basket. You more kind of have to be versatile around the 3-point line.
Yeah, I think you want a guy that can also like rack up assists, like a big man, like Giannis and Jokic are obviously they're two like MVP candidates. But when you look at they're grabbing all the rebounds, but they're also making plays. So that's why like Apollo is so intriguing to people because he's 6'10", so he can grab a bunch of boards and also like make plays for other people on his team. With all that being said, we'll continue to talk about the Pistons, but in a different way. Into our snake draft. Haven't done one in a while. Everyone, I hope, remembers the ground rules. Classic snake draft fashion. They're always testy. You never want your picks stolen. Let's get the random number generator up so we know this is legit. And the snake draft, if you're just joining now, if you skipped ahead, is the worst draft picks in Detroit sports history from the year 2000 to now. 5 picks each. Alex, your number in the random number generator will be 1. I will be 2. Evan will be 3. Generate. Alex, you get to choose where you want to go. You want to go 1. Wow. Hopefully you don't make a bad first pick in the worst pick draft. That's a funny joke. 2. Okay, I got 2. I will go second. So Evan's on the wraparound. Which kind of sucks, but also could be nice. You get 2 solid ones there. So Alex, without further ado, again, this is the Pistons, the Lions, the Tigers, and the Red Wings.
In the Detroit Shock.
Oh, wow. That would be first pick. I don't even know who you would take.
Right. Without
Detroit
further
City
ado.
FC. Oh my God. I just thought of actually a really funny one.
With the first pick.
If someone took Shea Patterson for the Panther.
The Michigan Panthers hasn't even played a game yet. Yeah. With the first pick in the worst draft, I will take the obvious first choice. Darko Milicic.
Yeah, that was my white whale, my number 1. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how we all think about this, but a big thing for me in this draft is going to be who they were taken ahead of. And when you draft him above Carmelo, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, we were looking at a full...
Won a championship.
Yes. And some of his early highlights did not look that bad.
No, he was bad. He became a professional kickboxer in his home country of Serbia.
Evan, is it unfair? Is it too egregious to say that team with Carmelo or Dwayne Wade wins 5 championships?
I think 3.
5, hard to tell. At least 2.
5 is a ridiculous amount.
But if you think about it, if it was Dwayne Wade, that is who we had to play in the Eastern Conference Finals every year. You take him off that team, we cakewalk through the East every year and then are fully rested to take on the Spurs.
Does Dwayne Wade fully develop into what he is?
Yes.
With Rip and Tayshaun and Chauncey?
Even better.
You wonder.
Probably more Carmelo, but at least 3, right?
I think a couple. Yeah.
I'm not 2004 with no help. So probably 2005, 2006.
And then you went back in.
We don't lose to Robert Horry, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we beat the Spurs.
Give us 3. Give us 3, Pete. 2004, 5, and 6. 2007, somebody leaves for more money.
Dude, this draft is good. I knew.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to hold that whole team together, though.
Yeah, we would have let
Anyways.
We'd
Tayshaun
have
walk
Dwayne Wade to
probably.
replace whoever we let go.
Yeah, it'd be Tayshaun most likely. Or maybe
Drew
Rick, 'cause-
Smiley pitched today. Sorry, way off topic, but that is stunning.
No, that was fair. That's fair to say. I knew this draft was going to be depressing, but it already hit me even more than I thought. Thinking about we would have lived through an actual dynasty in our young childhood years, and how which is probably for the
we
best.
did
We
go
would
to like 7 Eastern Conference Finals in a row. It's
That's
like
not
we
it.
suck.
That's not a
Coach for
dynasty.
reason.
But like we would have probably best though. We would have been. I felt like I would have been very cocky if my team was like that good in sports. Kind of like how Boston kids are. Like you just watch that much success, you just think you're going to win everything. So maybe it's best that we didn't draft one of those guys. But who am I kidding? It's absolutely not. With the second pick in the draft, Killian Hayes. No, I'm with you guys.
I was gonna leave the Zoom.
This is tough. Do I want to kick off?
Do a Red Wings one.
Do I want to kick off? I think I have one Red Wings guy on my list.
I have
just 'cause I
0.
wanted to sprinkle it out. I will go NFL. And it wasn't the highest pick that they flubbed, but it is the most talked about, still talked about to this day, hateable Eric Ebron in the 2014 draft. Was he?
Aaron Donald.
He was the 10th pick, so a top 10 pick. And when you just look at the names, the 4 names, no, Grant. The 7 names right behind him. Let me read you this list. Now, it's going to start off bad because you guys hate this guy, but he's still an okay tackle with injury problems. Taylor Lewan went right behind him. Odell Beckham Jr. after that. Aaron Donald. Kyle Fuller for Chicago. Ryan Shazier. Zach Martin, guard for Dallas. And CJ Mosley, linebacker, Baltimore. All of those guys are better than Eric Ebron. Eric Ebron could not catch passes and also was not liked by fans because he would talk about how fans would get on him for dropping said passes. I mean, it's one of the worst picks of all time. A tight end.
Agreed. This sucks. This draft sucks.
And we had the nuts, a different regime, to take another tight end, Hawkinson, early. I don't think I'm spoiling a pick, but at least that worked out better. But still crazy that this organization has like taken 2 massively high picks on tight ends. And when I feel like you can just go on the waiver wire and get away with Jimmy Graham at the age of 35.
The waiver wire. Fantasy football.
Okay, Alex, put your away.
Evan.
3 and 4, baby.
Take us
3 and
home.
4 back to back. NFL draft is in season, so I'm going to go 2 Lions players back to back. Number 1, Jelani Tavai. This guy is an absolute. Also was a bum. Doesn't help that Patricia and Bob Quinn drafted him 2nd round. Just an absolute complete no name from Hawaii. I hope he is still failing in the NFL like he did for the Lions.
Dude, the funniest thing about this, and I love grudges because like I didn't have him on my list because I was lazy.
Forgot about him.
I didn't look at the 2nd round, but I love that Evan just pinpointed 2nd round, 45th
Evan,
pick in the
Guys,
29th.
you remember
so mad
where
when
you
we
at when this
drafted.
happened?
Yes.
I remember exactly where
we
I
went
was
to the movies that night.
I'm gonna find you a name to piss you off even more. Who was behind him? I'm gonna go look right now.
I have a list for you, Grant.
Oh yes,
I do.
yes.
There's a bunch of studs behind him. Okay. Yes, it's defense, but a lot of these guys' names are on offense. Okay. How about some of these? Eric McCoy. Okay, started 16 games the last 2 years for the Saints. Solid offensive lineman. You could always use offensive line help.
Oh no, I
AJ
found
Brown.
him. Oh no,
DK
AJ
Metcalf.
Brown. Oh no,
Nikhil Hardman. Okay, if you want to go defense, okay, Taylor Rapp. Okay, safety for the Rams, pretty solid. Oh, Terry McLaurin also on this list. And I'm missing a couple of names too because I can fit them all on my notes.
I'd even take Greedy Williams, and he's been hurt a lot.
F word.
I mean, just the absolute
Miles Sanders.
blunder that they failed there in the 2nd round. It is a moment where like your 2nd round has to be a starter and has to contribute for many years to come. And when that name was drafted, your first reaction was, "Who the F is this, and why?"
Evan was super mad when it happened. I can confirm.
I almost broke my hand on your coffee table.
All right,
God,
you're
that's
up
good.
again.
That is good.
I'm assuming it's going to be another Bob Quinn guy.
It unfortunately, it's not. We're going way back to where a player barely played football, and we took him with the 5th overall pick in 2013. 2013, Ziggy Ansah.
Oh, another hateful Evan pick.
The production value for the fifth overall pick, terrible. Yes, he had his shining moments, but I think 2013, this team was competing for like divisional championships and playoff runs. And we drafted a guy that barely played football. Now you look back on the 2013 draft and you're like, wow, this draft stunk. There's not that many good names behind him.
So bad.
You have to like get to like the late first and like second round to where you actually find like studs. The first round was absolute garbage. But still like the value there, it's just so terrible. And we got rid of him and he was injury prone. So another bad pick by the Lions.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't have him on my big board because, like I said, I'm very biased to who was taken after them. And when I looked at this, I almost puked just like looking at the names after him. They're just as bad, if not worse, until you get to Sheldon Richardson at 13. But that's still close enough where you could have taken a defensive tackle at 5. So still definitely worthy because he didn't do much. And also, it's always a red flag when it's like, oh yeah, he started playing football like just 3 years ago, basically. So we're gonna take him with the 5th pick of the draft. What a story! Maybe take a guy who's just been playing it for longer. I don't know. Call me crazy. All right, now to my second pick. Ooh, do I stay football or do I go back? Do I shock Alex with a pick? No, I don't. I go with another Lions. We're just chopping them to death on this draft.
It's going to continue
right now. Is 2005. I bought this man's jersey, Mike Williams, with the 10th pick in the draft. You look right behind him, DeMarcus Ware, Sean Merriman, Thomas Davis. Just 3 stalwarts in the NFL. Right behind a wide receiver in the top 10 who absolutely was buns for the Lions. And yeah, I don't even know where his jersey's at. I don't even think I could sell it at a garage sale around that time for $5 with how terrible that was. I definitely
don't have that jersey anymore.
So, Mike Williams, 2005, just gross. And that's all I'll say about it. I don't want to give any more away because I have a feeling there could be other similar themes later in this draft for that strategy by the Lions.
So it's me. I get 2 now.
Yes, sir.
I'm chopping the shit out of the Lions. All right. First, we'll go with the 2nd overall pick in 2003, Charles Rogers. Yeah, he played like 5 games. Horrendous.
15, actually. That's crazy low.
You want to know who we drafted? Who we could have drafted? Yeah, Andre Johnson went 3rd.
Oh.
Dude, Troy Polamalu.
That's so bad that the same position one
the
pick
next
later
pick
was unbelievable.
A very good.
Sorry.
Very good player.
He was not unbelievable. He was really good.
So, yeah, that's all you really need to know. I mean, it was a horrendous pick. RIP. Tough. He did just die, so not chopping him. And he is a Michigan State alum. He was a good player at Michigan State.
Shows that you're not biased.
Correct. And then my next one, also Lions. This is a hateful pick. This is in the Evans style.
Love it.
Tease Tabor in the 2nd round. Disgusting pick by Bob Quinn. I knew right away when we drafted him, he ran like a 4.95 40 as a cornerback. And I was like, are you serious? We drafted a guy that's the same speed as Grant? I mean, there's no way he can play at the NFL.
Fair.
Some guys we could have drafted.
Yep. Make it hurt.
Let's see. Alvin Kamara, Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl MVP, Cooper Kupp.
No way.
That's Chris really Godwin, good, Kareem Hunt. Lots of guys. Lots of dudes. Trey Hendrickson.
Shoot, even Raekwon McMillan, right at, or did he get in trouble? I don't know. That I get those linebackers confused.
Jake Butt, George Kittle.
Was that Cunningham?
Jake Butt. George Kittle. Gross.
Juju was only a couple picks later.
Yeah, you didn't like Juju. So
Larry Ogunjobi just signed a big deal.
Yeah. So, Tease Tabor, horrendous pick. Horrendous. Why would you draft a corner that runs a 5.40? 5-second 40.
Bad draft pick. Great draft pick for this draft. That was good stuff. Do I go back to the Pistons with my 3rd pick is the big question.
Just keep chopping the Lions. I see like 5 more on this list. At least.
I'll go back to the Pistons, so they can't get off the hook that easily. And I'm staring at 5. I have 5 on this list that aren't named Darko Milicic.
I have 4.
And I'm just trying to think of which one probably hurt the most looking back at it. And even though he had some fun moments for us, it's got to be Luke Kennard in 2017 because the next picks were Donovan Mitchell and Bam Adebayo. I mean, we're talking about 2 all-stars, 2 just absolute dudes in college that we knew about, that were talked about. One went to Kentucky. The other one went to Louisville, Blue Bloods. Luke Kennard went to Duke. He's a Blue Blood. But nothing against the guy. Just wasn't the right pick at that time. And really, could have been a bright side. It was the nail in the coffin for a regime of the Pistons that was doing very bad at drafting players. Very, very bad.
Yeah, that one hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping up the trend with the Pistons, I got 2 more hate ones. One that I feel good about. I feel good about one because I was right when it happened.
Can I guess?
Right. You would know who it is. It's just obvious.
Is that who you're picking right here? Sekou?
Yes, Sekou, the bumway.
Evan was furious the day we drafted him. He said he would never root for the Pistons again.
Damn.
And I was right. And Alex and a friend of the podcast, Cody, was just trying to prove me right. Like, no, give it time, dude. He's going to be good. Just look at him. He's going to be the next Siakam. And no, we got rid of him. He got cut from the Lakers.
Did he really?
Yeah, he signed for like 10 days, and he played 1 game, I think, and they said, "Yeah, we don't."
I remember people were like upset when Weaver finally got rid of him. I was like, "Hey, what, dude? Like, what do you think he's gonna become?"
Yeah.
God, he's terrible.
So keeping on that trend, the reason why we still are trying to rebuild for the Pistons, Henry Ellison.
Oh, I knew you would.
Was drafted on Marquette by Stan Van Gundy. No, I don't know who was drafted behind him. I just know that it was a terrible pick.
Do you know what draft that was?
It was 2018, 2016.
2016. I'm looking.
Sekou didn't really have that much talent behind him around either. It's just like the overall, they did not pan out and they were bust. And the reason why the Pistons are still trying to rebuild.
Pascal Siakam, Deontay Murray, Karis LeVert.
I would even take Karis LeVert. Even give me Malik Beasley. I would take
Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah, there's some guys.
Gross. It's a testament to this draft that I still have so many of mine left. Just how many bad draft picks are. Basically 2 teams.
This draft is easy because of how horrendous we are at drafting. The Lions and the Pistons. I think those are going to be all the picks.
So this is my 4th pick. I kind of wanted to do this to steal Alex's thunder. I might just him right here. Live.
No.
Jeff Okuda, 2020, took him over Justin Herbert.
You actually taking him?
I'll do it. Jeff Okuda.
Dude.
Now, I thought
I could get him for free at the end.
I don't want to get it twisted. I do think this man can still be a bad player, so it's a little dirty I'm taking him, but you cannot sit here and say Justin Herbert would not have been better for this team. They could have accelerated the Matthew Stafford trade plan sooner, and like Alex says, taking a cornerback at 3, it never happens. We did it.
Disgusting.
And I still think he can be
pissed that day.
And if Jeff hears this, I just want him to know I'm still in his camp. I am ride or die Jeff Okuda. I just have to mention Justin Herbert would be sweet on the Lions.
You think?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. He'd look so good in the Honolulu blue with his hair flowing out of his helmet. Taking us to the wild card game like clockwork at least.
I like to pat myself on the back going into that draft. I said I wanted Herbert over Tua based off of size.
That's huge for you, Evan. I was definitely blinded by Tua.
I still haven't given up on Tua.
I haven't given up on Okuda. Can you admit if Tua isn't good this year, you have to give up on him because he's got everything he needs and more?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could say he's coming off an injury.
Okuda was in a bad situation.
Bad.
No depth behind him. You just get rid of our best corner that we've ever had. and he has to replace those shoes. And then we're going to run man to man. You have to chase the best player. You have Poncho wearing trying to run this organization. God, just absolutely terrible.
That was more of a picture, so Alex couldn't take it.
It's fair. It's fair. All right. To me, I get 2 picks and I'm done.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll get some more Pistons in here so I don't just chop the Lions the whole time. I'll go with the 8th pick in the NBA draft, Brandon Knight.
Great pick, Alex.
Drafted over Kemba, Clay, Kawhi, even Tobias Harris. A bunch of players that are better than him, honestly. Even Corey Joseph.
Tough.
Yeah, so really, really bad pick.
Now
he's only remembered for getting posterized by everybody in the league.
The only thing I guess you could say against it was at least he went to Kentucky and was like a big name in college. So they would have been like, okay, this kid should be good in the NBA. And he was okay. He just wasn't the guys behind him at all. Not even close.
Yeah. I mean, Kawhi and Klay Thompson. Come on.
Oof,
not that Kemba. You could have known, right? Because drafting's hard.
And Kemba just had like the best college season of all time. That is tough.
Yeah.
That is tough.
At least we didn't draft Jimmer. And then what do I want to do for the last pick? I'll go with another Piston. The 8th pick. Just a few years later, Stanley Johnson drafted over Devin Booker.
That's a great pick, Alex. You know why? Because this pick lives in infamy because that picture of Devin Booker in the Pistons practice jersey gets recycled on Twitter once every 3 months with a quote of him saying that he would love to play for Detroit. He's from Michigan, saying, I would love to play for this team after his individual workout. And we took Stanley Johnson,
who sucked. And everyone thought after the series against Cleveland that he was the greatest defender in the NBA.
I did. I thought Stanley Johnson was the truth and that we were on an upward trajectory.
I'd rather have Bobby Portis than him. Larry Nance Jr. over him. Montrezl Harrell over him. There's a million guys.
Probably even just like younger Larry Nance too.
Brandon Dawson got drafted that year. Wow. Shout out him. Pat Connaughton, 41st. Would take him over Stanley as well.
All right. My last pick. There's one there for the lie downs that I'm thinking of. But I'm going to go with one to get into what you guys tapped into, where when it was announced, I knew I didn't like it at all. I had terrible vibes from it. This was the 2013 Pistons draft. We took Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I said, who? He played at Georgia? Okay. He's just a 3-and-D, but skinny. Now, the reason it's my last pick is because really only C.J. McCollum was behind him. When you
thought Giannis was.
Yeah, but dude, if we landed Giannis, that would have been a miracle. Like, who knows? But the only name that was like, okay, that kid was really good in college, C.J. McCollum. It would have been nice. He went to a small school though. That's why it's not
beat
like
Duke in the tournament.
Yeah, so it wasn't a no-brainer pick. When it comes to KCP, but I just remember
NBA champion.
I was like, this isn't going to work out at all. Yeah, no, yeah, and you can imagine Grant, who despises LeBron with every fiber of my being, that KCP was helping him win a title in the bubble. That just made me want to throw up everywhere on the floor.
What draft was this?
2013.
It's funny looking at all these drafts, and there's some just
Pistons
no
really
talent drafts.
I think 2013 is the
Anthony
talent draft.
Bennett, Victor Oladipo, Otto Porter, Cody Zeller, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel. It's the top 6.
That was that one draft that Evan talked about in the NFL. That would be its comp. That draft was terrible.
Oh, this draft is bad. Evan's guy Kelly Olynyk went 13th. And he's like one of the best players.
Legitimately, like the whole first round pretty much is buns.
Wow, it's really bad. This is stunning.
if you just love gross stuff, go to the 2013.
This
NBA
is the
draft.
worst draft I've ever seen. There's like 4 guys that play. Rudy Gobert went 27th, but no one likes him anyways.
You can even make the argument he's like terrible in the playoffs, pretty much.
Tony
so.
Snell from New Mexico.
Evan, you have 2 picks, right, to end this puppy out, or just one? Just one.
Just one, because I've won twice already. I want to just try to do an Alex thing and say, hopefully this flies. It's probably not going to.
Like call your shot.
No, just like say I'm going to do this, but it's like 3 guys in one. It's probably just going to be an honorable mention. It's going to be an honorable mention. I'm just bringing it up now so you guys know in advance. So I've done Lions, I've done Pistons, Red Wings. So hard to tell. Half the names you look at their list, you're like, well, I don't know 95% of these guys.
The list I looked at, I couldn't name any of them. So
I'm going to go
honestly.
to the Tigers to bring them into the mix. There's 2 names that have been floating around here. But I'm going to go 2009. We drafted a young pitching stud, Jacob Turner. Some notable players behind him. You might ask, Evan, that was 2009. That's so far long ago. Drew Storen, pretty solid career. AJ Pollock, Tiger Killer, as of recently. Tyler Maystick, I'm butchering that name. Probably. He pitches for the Braves now. And by the way, guess who was drafted in 2009?
Max Scherzer.
Nope.
Damn.
The greatest baseball player of our generation.
Babe Ruth.
Miguel Cabrera.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout was drafted in 2009.
You could have just said that name only.
Jacob Turner.
Oh, wait, we took him over Mike Trout?
Yes, Mike Trout was drafted in the 20s, and we took Jacob Turner 10th overall, 9th overall.
Woof. I think that'd be a good. Do you want it to be an honorable mention? Do you want it to be your 5th pick?
No, that'll be my 5th pick.
All right.
Jacob Turner.
Wow.
From St. Louis,
That
Missouri.
Mike Trout.
What a
Westminster
gross
Christian
organization.
Academy.
What a gross but great draft this was.
Honorable mentions. Anybody got any? I have one.
I have
the entire
a lot.
2011 Lions draft. Look it up.
I've seen it. It's horrible.
All the listeners can pause right now. I'll give you a couple seconds.
I'm looking at that. So gross.
Now they all just spit out their coffee in the water by looking at what we drafted in 2011.
Nick Fairley, Titus Young, Mikel Leshore.
Oh my god!
And
I had all of them on my list.
Picks.
Yeah, and they only had 5 picks, but when you have 3 picks in the top 60 and they're all bad, that's pretty tough.
Nick Fairley did play a couple years, but then we didn't need him. There's other positions in need. Like that team was on verge of going to championship and trying to win the division, and we just
Titus
drafted a
Young
position.
got to play in a playoff game, I believe. So did Nick Fairley. Titus Young and Mikel Leshore were off the team by 2013, and they were drafted in 2011.
Didn't Mikel Leshore eat weed in his car?
Yes,
Yes, with Nick Fairley. Worst. Yeah, really bad draft.
Javed Best. Pretty
I
bad.
had Javed Best on
He
there.
had
Joey
one-
Harrington. Come on.
Well, so here, I'm actually proud of us for not taking Joey because I feel like if we were alive in
Feels like it
2003,
wasn't fair.
we would have loved it because he seemed like the guy. He was on the cover of NCAA football. Like, you got to take Joey Harrington, and our just dumpster organization ruined his career.
Do you say if we were alive? Grant, we were alive.
If we were doing the show,
We were 6.
if we were podcasting in our diapers.
Brandon Pettigrew was on my list. He sucked. I hated him.
God, that's a great name. He's so irrelevant. I've never even thought about him really since he left.
He went
our team.
20th overall.
It was bad because didn't we trade up for him too? Because we got
traded
Stafford
back
with
into
first
the
overall,
first.
and then we traded I think back into the first. To
God,
get
that's
him.
even worse. I definitely slipped on this because I got blinded by looking at top 10 picks because I wanted those big misses. But there was some really good ones you guys pulled from either second round or late first in the NFL draft because those are still massive picks for your organization. I want behind the scenes, Evan. I was going to give Alex some money, jokingly. I don't think I would have, but to say Matthew Stafford, just to trigger you and see what you would have done.
I would have exited the meeting. Like, you guys can take the rest of this.
I would not have done that, Evan. Come on now.
Other one I have. Okay, so I had a Tigers one and a Red Wings one that I just didn't know enough about to use. But in 2003, this is real deep. We took a guy named Kyle Sleeth really high in the first round, and a name behind him that went was Nick Markakis, which would have been a better pick looking back at it. And then in 2005, we took Jakob Kindle for the Red Wings. And
I saw him on the list. He's the only name I knew.
Right behind him was Tuukka Rask and TJ Oshie. So those two guys would have been sweet as Red Wings.
Also, just shout out the 2009 first round NFL draft. It's really bad. Also, that draft is horrendous. Stafford went 1 and then disgusting.
Start naming off some names.
Jason Smith, Tyson Jackson. This is in order.
And Tyson Jackson from LSU, defensive end.
Aaron Curry, Mark Sanchez, Andre Smith, Darius Hayward-Bay, Eugene Monroe, BJ Raji, Michael Crabtree, Aaron Maben, Noshawn Moreno.
Noshawn. I was such a big Noshawn guy. That hurts.
Malcolm Jenkins went.
Did anyone think about taking Roy Williams in 2004?
No, I thought he was decent.
He was okay. Ben Roethlisberger was behind him, and so Jonathan Vilma. Looking back at it, but he was the thing is Mike Williams was so terrible that when you had two Williams, just being Roy Williams kind of helped. Like at least he's not Mike Williams.
I have another one. Pistons. Gonzaga hater Evan Cadmus. Austin Day, 15th overall.
Ew.
Scrub.
I had
Drew Holiday went 17.
I had 2010s, a little unfair because he was okay, but the game was starting to change around then. Greg Monroe taking him over Paul George.
Yeah.
Paul George is not amazing, and he has a goofy playoff P nickname, but he's still much better than Greg Monroe. Gordon Hayward was also there. He's up and down, but still would have liked him better than Greg Monroe. And then my last one, and I understand it's harsh, and I didn't pick it for a reason, but we had to monitor it. We took Killian Hayes over Tyrese Halliburton in the 2020 draft when Tyrese Halliburton was getting a lot of
early
buzz.
Grant.
And yes, Tyrese is 2 years older, so we have to give Killian the benefit of the doubt, but Tyrese Halliburton averaged like 16 points and 8 assists this year already. So that could be one we look back on. But it's early.
Killian hasn't been traded yet, so he's better than that.
True. So that gets you guys ready for the dark side of the draft. And then, so I think how we're going to do it is the next episode might have a guest. We'll TBD. We'll see. But you can guarantee we're going to be talking about like we did last year where lines like dream scenarios, worst case scenarios, all those kind of hypotheticals. And then the next week before Thursday, because there's 2 shows into the draft, the next one, the one closest will be just the live mock draft. TBD if we actually go 7 rounds, because I did 2 today and like I was just
7 is probably too much.
I think I was bullish to take Jalen Naylor in the 7th round. I was there. I was like, yeah, give me a guy I know. Give me Jalen Naylor. Let's return some punts. So
he's going in the 5th.
We'll see. We'll see if we do a full 7, but you can look forward to those 2 draftings coming, and they'll be more positive than this was. But this is just to get ourselves ready for failure if it happens. And that's a show. So at Shot of MS everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. How to listen to this show: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. And then for the Twitter account or for the social accounts, Twitter, you see a lot of we'll do a lot of game highlights, a lot of quick stuff. Instagram, more graphics and whatnot. But just the different accounts have different things. And then Apple Pod, Spotify, YouTube, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ratings really help. Reviews help. Sending links to friends, all that good stuff. And then pretty light. The listeners had an off week when it came to listener questions, which is okay. Sometimes you need to rest and recharge, but if we can get some more for next show, we can sprinkle in other life questions. If we get 3 to 4 good ones, we'll have that for you guys as well, assuming everyone likes it. And so keep submitting questions. With all that being said, cheers to episode 67.
Cheers to getting the next 2 drafts right, unlike this draft we just listed.
Happy Easter, and then also happy coach search. Michigan State hockey is looking for a new one.
Goodbye, Dan.
Cheers to Cade Cunningham's Rookie of the Year season.